So the 49ers and Brock Purdy just successfully executed a magic trick. Up to $265 million for Purdy. Newfound generational wealth coming from the 49ers. But the 2025 salary cap hit, only about $8.5 million. Talk about a win-win. And, people who peripherally understand contracts, they're oohing and awing over the total money, which is the $265 million. But people who actually understand contracts, who look at the nitty-gritty, are looking at this as one of the tremendously successful negotiations that we've ever seen at the quarterback position. First off, it's done on May 16th. So 49ers fans who had to live through the prolonged contract drama for Brandon Ayuk last year, Nick Bosa the season before that, and superstars in many other years of this Shanahan-Lynch era, they don't have to live through that this time. This deal is done over 2 months before training camp. But now I could sit down and explain how Brock Purdy compromised with the 49ers to allow them to build the strongest possible roster around him. Purdy came to play ball in good faith, and the 49ers returned the favor. That's what a negotiation is all about. And the biggest green flag here is the date. The fact that they've agreed to terms on May 16th, well, that means that both sides are very, very satisfied with what is on the table. Purdy obviously wouldn't have agreed to a deal that he didn't find amenable. He would have waited a little bit longer until the 49ers met him where he needed to be. And the 49ers, well, they wouldn't have offered a deal that they weren't willing to pay in the first place. So the structure came together this early because both sides were mature. Both sides realized what needed to be done to ensure a drama-free offseason for a 49ers team looking to rebound from 6-11 hell in 2024. But the underlying issue, the one that, not easy to solve here, but the 49ers and Purdy made it easy to solve by their attitude surrounding this contract, was the issue of the salary cap. San Francisco has paid more players A-list money than any other NFL team since Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch took over in 2017. So cap space is at a premium, especially since Brock Purdy is going to have a lot of money on the books moving into the future. That meant that the 49ers, recognizing that cap space now is more valuable than cap space in the future, since unused salary cap room carries over from season to season, they had to keep as much cap space open right now as was humanly possible. That's where Purdy came to play ball. Over the first 3 years of this contract, Brock Purdy is set to make $165.05 million. That just edges out Jared Goff's years 1 to 3 cash flow with the Detroit Lions, $165 million. So this obviously was by design in the deal. But in year one, the math that I'm doing when I'm looking at how all this is going to work, because we know that the salary cap hit is only $8.5 million, year one is going to see Purdy take less. So he's taking one for the team, a discount in year one, knowing that the 49ers will take care of him in years 2 and 3. That is the sign of a very mutually beneficial negotiation, a negotiation of trust. 49ers and Purdy were good business partners in this scenario. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, after the season ended, they talked so openly about wanting Brock Purdy to be their franchise quarterback for the long term. It was clear that they were not playing any negotiation games from the very get-go. And I think it was clear from Brock Purdy's perspective that negotiation games were not happening either, because he said that it was his priority to get this deal done in time so it wouldn't be a distraction, so he could work with his teammates. So that's where this golden compromise was reached. So many more of the details are going to trickle in here over the course of the next few days. And of course, you can expect me to have the deepest dive into all the financial mechanics, the salary cap Tetris that the 49ers are playing. But I can tell you that $165.05 million number that surpasses Jared Goff's $165 million cash flow over the first 3 years. I know that's a big part of this contract. I can also tell you that the $53 million per year, well, That's a vanity number. The 49ers and Purdy didn't get hung up on the vanity number. Average per year of a contract is easy to inflate. You can just tack on worthless money onto the end, or you could front load a deal in an inefficient way to jack up the average per year. Brock Purdy and the 49ers didn't decide to partake in those games. They found a number that would be amenable on the surface, $53 million. It matches Jared Goff's. It ranks number 7 of all NFL quarterbacks. And they went to work building a mature deal that rewarded Purdy with guarantees. There's $100 million fully guaranteed, which about matches Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers. But fully guaranteed money in this case, by the way that this is structured, is not the most relevant way to measure things. There are 181 million total guarantees in this contract, and those are comprised of injury guaranteed money. It becomes fully guaranteed on a rolling year-to-year basis. So there are going to be trigger dates every single season, and if Brock Purdy is still on the team, that money is going to find its way into a full guarantee. So we can say that the $181 million, which is total guaranteed, will essentially be fully guaranteed. Effective guarantee is the terminology that best applies. So Purdy, $181 million from the 49ers. It's going to be very hard for them to get out of that in this contract because of the effective guarantees, because of the leverage of the quarterback position, especially a quarterback who has played as well as Brock Purdy. That means that the 49ers are tethered to him for several seasons. We had talked about the standard market rate for an A-list contract being 5 years of team control. 49ers actually have 6 now because they tack this on to Purdy's rookie deal. But we had always said 5 years of team control with 2 years at the start, fully guaranteed. If a player does really well in the negotiation, if a team really believes in a player, that moves up to about 3 years fully guaranteed based on the financial commitment. With $181 million of effective guarantees in this contract, Brock Purdy is going to be the 49ers quarterback for the foreseeable future. I think that you could even argue that those guarantees move into that third new season of the contract. Now, remember that he was already under contract for this 2025 season at $5.3 million. That was the 4th year of the rookie deal, pick number 262, Brock Purdy. That was the lowest slotted amount of the entire 2022 draft, but because he made the Pro Bowl in 2023, he got a pay raise from about $1 million to $5.3 million. Purdy will essentially play out this 2025 season on his rookie deal, but you have to add the salary cap hit of the signing bonus, and we're going to find out the exact details of the signing bonus, but based on the $8.5 million salary cap hit, I would think that the signing bonus will be somewhere a little shy of $40 million. You got to tack on the prorated portion of the signing bonus to the 2025 cap hit. That's how the 49ers were able to keep it so low. Remember when I projected this contract, I said if they can keep it at $15 million or below, it's a win. Well, about $8.5 million, that is one of the most massive 49ers contract victories that we've ever seen. And Brock Purdy was happy to play ball with them because he's going to get that money in year 2 and year 3 as the salary cap keeps on rising. You could see how the mutual trust works here in this contract for Brock Purdy. It's important to look at contract dynamics, contract mechanisms. A couple days ago, I did an analysis on George Kittle's contract. I said that it was a preview for how the 49ers might structure Brock Purdy's deal. You take a look at Kittle's contract and you see the rolling guarantee structure. Different colors and different columns here all indicate either signing or option bonuses. According to NFL rules, a signing bonus or an option bonus can be prorated against the salary cap for up to 5 years. So the salary cap impact is stretched. For example, if a player signs for a $50 million signing bonus or a $50 million option bonus, divide that by 5, it equals $10 million, hits the cap in each subsequent season. So you can see that in Kittle's contract, the salary cap hits stretched like an accordion across the length of the deal. They even added void years at the end of George Kittle's contract to lessen the salary cap hit in the now. The 49ers are doing something similar with Brock Purdy's deal, and as soon as we get those final numbers and I'm able to break it out in a nice chart like this, you will see the salary cap hit stretch into the future. NFL revenue is increasing. You see all these games in Europe. You see games in South America. The NFL revenue can be expected to continue increasing. And based on the collective bargaining agreement, which was a deal struck between the players and the NFL owners, the salary cap will continue rising along with NFL revenue. So the 49ers are okay with these escalating costs moving into the future. The one area where Brock Purdy truly had to play ball with San Francisco was the year one pay. Somebody like Jared Goff got a signing bonus worth $70 million. 49ers would not have been able to keep the salary cap hit as low as they've been able to keep it with a signing bonus that big. But Purdy still exceeds Goff in years 1 to 3 cash flow. So again, that comes back to trust between team and quarterback. Now, when you look at Brock Purdy's performance over the course of his NFL career so far, it has been exemplary. He's in the upper right here. You want to be in the upper right here. This is efficiency and it is accuracy. These are all qualifying quarterbacks since 2022 when Brock Purdy entered the league. Who's the most efficient quarterback in the NFL since Brock Purdy entered the league? Brock Purdy is the most efficient quarterback in the NFL since he entered the league. It's Purdy at number 1. It's Josh Allen at number 2. It's Patrick Mahomes at number 3. It's Lamar Jackson at number 4. And then it's Jared Goff. We've talked about this deal was built around Jared Goff's deal in so many ways at number 5. Regardless of whether you think that Brock Purdy is better or worse than Josh Allen, that's not the point. That's not the debate here. The point is that Brock Purdy, within the context of Kyle Shanahan's scheme, and every quarterback is operating within the context of a coach's scheme. On the 49ers offense, with the 49ers surrounding talent, Brock Purdy has been the most efficient quarterback in football. And that is something that every team would die for, to have that efficiency at the quarterback position. The Chiefs are extremely fortunate and extremely lucky to have Patrick Mahomes. The Bills are over the moon to have Josh Allen. The Ravens are thrilled to have Lamar Jackson. And the 49ers, well, they know how rare it is as well. They are stoked to have Brock Purdy, and they have now secured him through his age 30 season. That's another thing. 5 years on top of this 2025 season. So Purdy, when he's age 30 in 2030, that's going to be the final year of this contract with the 49ers. If he continues playing at an extremely high level, well, then the 49ers and Purdy will be able to rip up this contract and produce a new extension before then. We've seen so much of that already. In fact, they have essentially ripped up the old contract, even though they just tacked onto it, the rookie contract, and added on this lucrative extension on top of it before the rookie contract expired, because A-list players do not play on lame duck deals. There's been an outpouring of support for Brock Purdy from his teammates, and I thought that this one was the most powerful. This is from Diomede Lenore, who's one of the 49ers A-list pillars alongside Purdy. And Diomede Lenore said, "They can't deny you now. This is the greatest story in the world." And, you know, this is what I wrote on the San Francisco Standard. Is Purdy worth this type of investment? Every indication since he entered the league as its very last 2022 draft pick, number 262, suggests yes. From beating Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Buccaneers in his first start, that was the only time Brady lost to a team helmed by a rookie QB, to dominating NFL passing metrics in 2023, to maintaining good play in 2024, even as the 49ers crumbled around him, Purdy has answered the bell at every juncture. So, Diomede Lenore takes his victory lap. Brock Purdy can take his victory lap. They cannot deny him any longer. He's a quarterback making massive money, and he's a quarterback who has managed to make massive money, secure himself with that contract, even while continuing to allow his team to operate. That is the underlying truth of all this, is that the contract is a win-win that allows the 49ers to continue surfing the wave of the rising salary cap, using the same techniques that they've used to sign so many of these other star players. You've got Brock Purdy at the quarterback position. You've got Christian McCaffrey at running back. You have George Kittle at tight end. You have Brandon Ayuk at receiver. You have Trent Williams at offensive line, left tackle. You've got Kyle Juszczyk at fullback. You've got Nick Bosa at defensive end. You've got Fred Warner at linebacker. You've got Deommodore Lenoir, the one who congratulated Brock Purdy with the post that I just showed, at cornerback. Those are all A-list players in whom the 49ers have invested massive money. And most of the names I just read, in fact, all of them on the offensive side of the ball, have gotten big paychecks on the 49ers over the course of the past calendar year. Isn't that something? So San Francisco, they're obviously modernizing the roster. We saw the youth movement. We see nearly 20 new rookies in the building now. 11 draft picks in the recent 2025 NFL draft. There's still a huge amount of money being spent on veterans. In fact, once this money for Brock Purdy is firmly in the books and we are able to exactly calculate the year one cash flow, the 49ers salary cash spending for the 2025 season will again be within the top 3 of the league. Minnesota at the very top, Buffalo at number 2, and I think the 49ers will probably end up at number 3 if about $40 million rolls in for Purdy this year. And then we talk about $165.05 million over the first 3 years. You could just do the math there. If $40 million rolls in the first year, there's going to be $125 million coming to Purdy over 2026 and 2027. That's over $60 million per year for Brock Purdy over the following 2 seasons. So the 49ers remain some of the richest spenders in the league. It just so happens that they agreed to sell 6% of the team at an $8.5 billion valuation to raise over $500 million. The news of that dropped the day before the news of this Brock Purdy contract agreement dropped. Are those two related? Probably not as closely as some people will make it out to be. But again, you need liquidity on hand to be able to pay out massive salaries. And the 49ers have paid out more big salaries than any other team since Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch came aboard. So now the 49ers, they can focus everything on 2025. George Kittle signed his deal in early May. Brock Purdy is going to sign his deal in mid-May. OTAs begin next week, and the 49ers can sail full speed ahead. They've had great attendance so far at the offseason program. That has included Brock Purdy. That's also included George Kittle. The draft picks are there, all but one draft pick. The second rounder, Alfred Collins, has signed. I'm sure that he'll sign soon. And it's going to be all football, all focus on the gridiron for the 49ers. They were exhausted following the 2023 season and the lost Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs. And remember that it was Brock Purdy went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes into overtime during that Super Bowl. Probably would have beaten Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs if not for a special teams blunder and maybe an early fumble there for Christian McCaffrey in that football game. But they were exhausted. 60 games in 3 seasons for the 49ers. It was a little too much without the wind at their sails of a Super Bowl victory. So 2024, especially given how bad the schedule was, the negative 22 net rest differential, it turned into a tailspin. But one of the cool things, and I think one of the validating things for the 49ers, was that Brock Purdy remained a really good quarterback despite everything crumbling around him. You could see that the consistency of his play was still there. Take a look at the interception rate. Take a look at the efficiency per play, the yards per attempt. He was historically good in 2023 when the 49ers were historically good around him. Newsflash, it's a team sport. But he was still solid even though everything crumbled elsewhere in 2024. Number 29 run defense, number 26 overall defense, number 32 separation. 49ers need better separation around Brock Purdy moving forward. Any quarterback would need this. Number 20 first down run efficiency. I think that the return of McCaffrey this year is going to help the 49ers immensely. We should stop pretending that quarterbacks work and operate in a vacuum. So the 49ers were validated by what happened in that 2024 season. They said, okay, now we know that Brock Purdy can give us a very high floor, even when things around him are going wrong. Number 7 QBR is the best way to illustrate that. In fact, the QBR window for Brock Purdy is essentially the tightest in the league. It essentially mirrors Josh Allen's. He's been number 1 at his height in 2023 in QBR, and he was number 7 at his lowest point in 2024 in QBR. And that is our best way of quantifying quarterback performance and trying to separate it as much as possible from team factors. That's obviously hard to do, but Brock Purdy was able to answer that bell in 2024. Moving forward, we talk about how brutally difficult and unfair the schedule was for the 49ers in 2023 or 2024. 23 was hard as well for San Francisco. 2025, things are looking a lot better. Technically, if you look at strength of schedule, the easiest schedule in NFL based on win percentages of their opponents. They also, as part of this, have a chance to play both the AFC South and the NFC South. They'll be way more rested, but I think more important than any of this stuff is the fact that the 49ers can focus on practice over the course of this offseason. They won't be distracted by Brock Purdy and contract drama. They won't be distracted by George Kittle and contract drama. Fred Warner is eligible for a new deal as well. So is Juwan Jennings. I think the 49ers can get those things done in due time, especially now that the parameters of the Brock Purdy deal are in place and it's expected to be signed next week. My calculations show that if this cap hit rises from only $5 million and change to about $8.5 million, 49ers will still have about $32 or $33 million of projected salary cap space left. Remember, the unused space carries over from season to season. They can open up some space, or even with the Fred Warner extension, they probably have to use a little bit more for a Juwan Jennings extension. Either way, you have enough money to get these deals done for core players because that is your philosophy. And then you could move forward trying to shepherd these youngsters along. And Brock Purdy is going to be a key figure in doing that for the 49ers as the 2025 season approaches. Whatever isn't used for the 49ers this year in terms of the salary cap will carry over into 2026. But make no mistake, this was a win-win. I can't say that enough because it was done by May 16th. I think some people need a business 101 lesson in this regard, because anybody trying to say that some side won or some side screwed the other side in this deal, guys, look at the date of the deal. It's the ones that go all the way to the limit where one side has to cave, which are the ones that are inherently won by one side or the other. But I can guarantee you, given the date, given May 16th, a deal struck this early with so little surrounding dramatics is a clear sign that both sides are very satisfied. And anytime that you enter a big negotiation, that is the ultimate goal. Make sure that both sides are very satisfied. I've covered Brock Purdy from the very start of his 49ers journey. Pick number 262, the very last selection of that 2022 draft that made his family go absolutely nuts. Yeah! Fast forward a few months past then, and it was Brock Purdy coming in for Jimmy Garoppolo against the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins just ran a bunch of cover zero blitzes at him. They figured out this rookie 7th-round pick, Mr. Irrelevant, won't be able to handle it. Well, Purdy beat zero blitzes with absolutely no problem. That throw to George Kittle told us that he had arrived. Then we wanted to see consistency from Brock Purdy, and he showed it the next week when he beat Tom Brady against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, put up 4 touchdowns against a good Bucs defense over the course of the first half. That was the first and only time that Tom Brady would lose to a rookie quarterback in his entire NFL career. Now, remember, Tampa Bay sent a nickel blitz on the very first play of that game, and Brock Purdy got absolutely crushed. Wasn't ready for it. But what a great metaphor. Everybody thought that was it. Okay, Cinderella story over. He got crushed by a nickel blitz. He's not going to take well to this. The NFL story of Brock Purdy was fun against the Miami Dolphins, but Jimmy Garoppolo better hurry up in his foot recovery and come back soon. It was after that first blitz against Tampa Bay that went disastrously for Purdy and the 49ers that he got back up, threw those 4 first-half touchdown passes, beat Tom Brady, made history in doing so, and then went on to be the NFL's highest rated quarterback and set records in 2023. So, yes, Diamante Lenore is correct. This is the greatest story in the world. This is the greatest story in the football world. Brock Purdy from 262 to a quarterback who lit the NFL on fire in 2023 to one who's worth $265 million in total contract value now, the most ever by a lot for a 7th-round pick. And guess what? That $265 million, obviously Purdy's resume says that he's worth it, and the 49ers need a quarterback in place who's delivered at that number one efficiency. That $265 million is a staggering number, but it's all part of a win-win negotiation that Brock Purdy and the 49ers wrapped up by what seems like a miraculously early date, May 16th. $8.5 million first-year salary cap hit on a $265 million contract. The mechanics, the cap wizardry that the 49ers like to employ, that was fully part of this deal, but it took Brock Purdy negotiating in good faith to get it done. And now here we are. The deal's been reached. The 49ers can move forward. Both sides can be satisfied. And that's why we sit here with such a drama-free ending. What a story it's been, and maybe it's just beginning. We've seen the first 3 seasons of Brock Purdy. Now we enter contract Brock Purdy mode. We enter 2025 as the 49ers are going to shoot for that Lombardi trophy. Everybody make sure you check out the San Francisco Standard. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Hopefully this has been the most in-depth look at the Brock Purdy contract there is. Once those final numbers are fully available, you know we are going to break this down like nobody else can break this down. So we'll talk to you very soon.